Welcome, everyone, to Discovery Paranormal. I am your host, Mikhail Angeli, and I will take you on a journey through quantum entanglement. Quantum entanglement. You think you're bad? You think you're badass? You think you know about stuff, man? You think that you little UFO guy out there, or you're a little like paranormal ghosty person out there? Do you know why everything happens? This is the roots. Tonight on Discovery Paranormal, we're talking about the roots, the very fabric of time and space. And I'm going to throw it at you like a pie in your face. Ha ha. And I'm going to give you choices that you can make to make your life great, to make everything great, to change everything, right? And shake certain patterns, change certain algorithms, man. Mess up that syntax. I'll tell you, in the world of quantum physics, quantum entanglement, especially, quantum tunneling, whatever you're talking about, this is what makes us. And we create the world around us, not just in your crappy decisions, but through other people's crappy decisions as well. It all comes together in one big, giant, megalomaniac crap fest that we have to digest. And people say, oh, life is so horrible. Oh, the drudgery of life. It sucks. And I'm like, life is what you make of it. And you can get hit with all kinds of stuff, cancer, all the diseases, syndromes, or whatever. Well, let's say you don't. Let's say you have no medical problems at all, and you're a reasonably intelligent person who can make reasonably intelligent, educated decisions. Type of people that just don't say whatever comes across their mind, like certain presidents we know, whatever. Sometimes you got to keep stuff in with some people, maybe most of the time. But I'm talking about you and the world that you create. Now, there are quantum theorists who I know who don't believe in ghosts, by the way. Some of them do, but the one I'm going to talk about reference right now, we have a conversation all the time about this, even though he's religious too, a Catholic, and believes in, Jesus and the Holy Ghost and the Father. It's the Holy Trinity. It's all about threes, man. 3, 6, 9, 12, 3. It all starts with 3. Nikola Tesla, obsessed with threes. Einstein, obsessed with threes. Could they be wrong? No. A little quirky, a little weird. I hear Nikola Tesla wouldn't enter a building unless he walked around it at least 3 times. That's a little obsessive compulsive, man. A little bit, right? It's probably why he was so skinny. That too. But I'm talking about these guys. All right. I'm going to describe it like this. First, we're going to put into layman's terms what quantum entanglement is, in case you're not a scientist, right? In case you're just you're like me, plain old person that likes to know things. We're just people that like to know things, So I'll give it to you, the entanglement for dummies version. All right, so quantum entanglement is thought to be, it's a theory, right? But it's a theory that a lot of, basically everybody stands by. It's thought to be one of the trickiest concepts in science, but the core issues are simple. And once understood, entanglement opens up a richer understanding of the concept, such as many worlds of quantum theory, right? So in quantum physics, entangled particles remain connected so that actions performed on one affect the other, even when separated at great distances. So I'll say this, in a recent test that they did, they had separated two particles with a laser, pow. Now you add two separate particles that were once joined together, right? One particle acts one way, the other particle acts the opposite of the other one. They are connected. No matter what you do to the one, it affects the other, and vice versa. Even though they are disconnected, they are separated. They separated these particles. I think the first test was like just a few miles, 3 or 4 miles. I think the last one was over 200 miles. They went the one 50 miles away, 50 miles away, 200 miles away. Two particles separated that are connected. That's important. That's an important connection. That's an important find in science. That instantaneous connection, no matter what is in the way, it could be mountains, could be tunnels, up, down, underground, doesn't matter. If these two particles were separated, one here on Earth and the other one on Mars, it would be the same, no doubt, would react the same, right? So now this phenomenon riled people like Albert Einstein. He called it spooky action at a distance, right? Albert Einstein, who didn't have access to the supercomputers that we have now and quantum computers that we are becoming immersed in, right? The more we have these computers, the more they can analyze, the more they can data mine, the faster they go, the more we're going to figure out our mathematical history and future. It's math. Everything comes down to numbers. I'm a numbers guy, right? Yeah, I don't like algebra. Fine. I do it. I've done it. Trigonometry, all good, man. It makes your brain hurt after a while if you're not really like immersed in it, you know. And then there are people that are though they love it, man. They love it. They can calculate all day long. They're numbers people, you know. That's fine. To each his own, man. I use math to get what I want. I use math to go places. I understand that everything forms in numbers, in wave forms. It's like the black hole theories, right? On the event horizon, that is basically the energy barrier to the black hole. Apparently, what the theory is that whatever gets sucked into that event horizon, no matter what it is, well, it could be, it could be an automobile, right? You got that Tesla circling around the moon because Elon Musk wants to send a car out there, so he launched a Tesla. That's cool. Got one of his cars in the decaying orbit on Mars, right? So let's say his Tesla car somehow got flung out of that decaying orbit and then wiggle out in space, and then found itself into a black hole, and then got into the event horizon. Not only would it be shrink down to a little tiny little speck, right? Because of the gravity, the sheer gravity that compacts everything. I mean, anyway, it gets down to that level. It's believed that the very being of that device would be encoded into a numbered system in that event horizon forever. This is what the theory is. This is what they think by doing the math, right? So, and then think about materials. Think about the Earth. Think about stars, dead stars, dense materials, right? There are there's matter out there that if you had a cube of it on Earth, like a 1-inch cube size of a die, right? If the dense material would be so heavy, you wouldn't be able to lift it. It would be heavy, like heavy, like a battleship type of heavy. But yet it's a 1-inch cube. So when you think in terms of size and matter and space and timelines, If you don't use quantum physics, none of it makes sense. If you do use quantum physics, it all makes sense. And in quantum physics, there's no difference between anything. It's like you could look at, you know what? You can find quantum physics in ancient philosophy. You can read poems from Lao Tzu, and you can read about quantum physics all the time. You can read about yin and yang all the time. You can read about energy all the time. And a lot of different texts, they all cover it in some way or the other because we witness it every day and we're part of it. And like I said, it's the very fabric of what we're made of. It's the painting that's been painted that we're all part of, you know? So if you start thinking in those terms that you, your friends, your neighbors, the people down the block, the guys on there, people across the world, in Iran, China, you know, countries in Africa, whatever, we're all part of the same fabric. You know, we're all part of the same thing. So, all right. Anyway, Albert Einstein, who was a funny guy, had a great sense of humor, came up with a lot of amazing concepts. All of these guys, all of them, and I mean Tesla, Einstein, even prophets like Muhammad, all of them had some kind of visitation before they got all this knowledge. You know, Moses included. All of them had some kind of visitation, a hallucination, visitation, you know, archangel showing up, whatever. That's cool. I can explain all of that through quantum physics. So when I talk to my physics people and they don't believe in ghosts, I'm like, you believe in multi-dimensions, but you don't believe in ghosts. That's like those ghost hunter guys who don't believe in mediums. You believe in ghosts and spirits, but you don't believe in people that could talk to them. And why is this so different? If they are people, you know, let's say your Aunt Sally dies and then she's haunting your house and you knew her, you know her, there's no difference except that she doesn't have a body, a physical presence, but she still has a vibration, right? If you start thinking in the world of quantum physics, there's no forward and backward. There's no up and down. There's no back and forth. There's no nothing. Because anything, and I mean anything, is possible. So if anything is possible, you should be able to create anything, especially the world around you. So you say your life sucks, start thinking differently. And I don't mean just think it. I mean like envision it, experience it, change the experience inside, right? Einstein did. He divorced his wife. You know what? He did the best work he ever did. Even I think he got back together with her again at some point. And Tesla was never married, didn't have any women in his life. So they had a lot of free time to do these things. They were just all running to Home Depot. You know what I mean? Doing stuff like that. So, all right. So we've already talked about these particles, okay? They separated them with a laser beam, and they spin, but they don't have any rotation, if you can imagine that. So, and it's just interesting how they keep going further and further. They've gone hundreds of miles apart with these particles, yet they've reacted the same way because they're forever connected, man. So you ever think about twins, right? You know, twins. You know, two people born in the womb together, and then there's so many accounts of like twins that feel each other. They know each other's emotions. They have like these premonitions that something's going to happen to the other one, you know, and they kind of just swirl around together like the Pisces. You know what I mean? Like there's two little fish. That's yin and yang, you know. First true example is two fish swimming together in harmony. It's supposed to be. So you have an understanding now, I think you should, of what quantum entanglement is. And even though you can read a lot of articles that say the entanglements happen. When they say that they happen, it's interesting that I feel like scientists in general have, I mean, not all of them, but I think that the ones who are book smart have a very dim view of the big picture, and they think in terms of blocks, like. But when it comes to this world of physics, you can't think of these little bits and then try to put it together. Almost like, you know what? It's like a jigsaw puzzle, and it's got 1,000 pieces, and they're spread out among like 5 states, and you're running over here. I'm going to go get this one. I'm going to do. You spend a lot of time, and then you still have these pieces. You still have to put them together. I think if they thought with the big picture, that they would have more of an understanding of. That's just my take. I'm not a scientist, man. I'm not a PhD. I don't have any of that stuff. Which I don't. PhDs don't impress me. I'm in Ithaca, where Cornell University is. I've been here long time. I've met so many people with PhDs that didn't know anything, and I'm just saying that, So yeah, you got your degree, you paid for it, you studied, whatever you did, but what do you know? And like when my kids were learning Chinese, I had a teacher. She was a Chinese national who was here, and she was a grad student, and she's a physicist. After the lesson, we would talk physics a little bit, and then I had mentioned tachyons to her, and she laughed it off like it was the funniest thing she ever heard. But meanwhile, if you don't consider and have that theory, you're never going to discover anything. Am I back? All right. Hopefully, I'm back. Not quite sure. AT&T's been having a problem lately, and if you think that people can't figure out quantum entanglement, AT&T can't figure out phone lines.
You're not shitting about that.
So we can blame AT&T on that. But all right, now quantum entanglement. If you consider that everything that happens is an action reaction, and all these action reactions rely on one another, and they're shared, that leaves a lot of questions and a lot of exploration and a lot of things that we can even invent off of that to really, be the ones who can go from one place to another instantaneously. I mean, when one time I was hanging out, I like telling the story too because it's one of my good stories. Hanging out with Carl Sagan's father-in-law, right? He's lived here in Ithaca, and I knew him. I met him up at Cornell. I used to go to all the cool anything they had up there, any event with physics or moon or Mars or whatever. I was there too, and just hanging out in the background. I like to pick people's brains just to see what the deal is, So I met this dude, and introduced himself, and his name was Harry, whatever.
Guys, we're in Gulfport, Mississippi, filming what looks to be a saucer. Probably not, but it's cool looking, whatever it is. zoomed all the way in. Nice out on Beach Highway. Whatever this thing is, it's cool as hell. Sorry, it wouldn't be moving, but that's the cars are zipping by so fast they're rocking my car where my horn is laid on. Guys, I'm not sure what the hell we got, but we got it. Zoom out, let y'all see how far. So the camera don't do it justice, because even this far out, it's lit up like a Christmas tree out here. And it's basically sitting in the same spot, it ain't moved. So there it is. Just so you can use the beach kind of as a guideline, it ain't moving. It's just sitting there hovering over the Gulf. Looks to be a couple miles offshore, maybe 2, maybe 3. Zoom back in on, get the camera time to correct. Let's see what we can get. Zooming in all the way, guys. There you go. Just sitting there hovering over the Gulf of Mexico. Yeah, it's starting to go down. Looks like it's going to go into the water. It is definitely getting lower. Huh? Yeah, it's going down quickly, I know. This thing looks like it's going to land in the water, guys. And I think it just went in. There it went. Sorry, guys. It is completely gone. Nowhere to be found. Adios, amigos. Damn, that's a good sighting. That is just weird. Let's scan the area one more time. It's gone, y'all. It just all of a sudden looked like it started going down. It was getting closer and closer to the water. And then blink, it was gone. I'll have to post this when I get in this evening. And by the way, it's 2/12/12. We're in Pass Christian, Mississippi on Beach Highway. 5:55 in the afternoon. Look at the sky behind us, y'all. Kind of looks wicked out there. Crazy day. Crazy day.